everyone, Miss Magoob here from room 7. Last week I taught you how to add two-digit numbers, and today we're going to learn how to subtract two-digit numbers. And we're going to start off by just doing subtracting tens. And we're going to start off with our first strategy, which is using a number line. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, the very first problem that I have here is 70 minus 30. So we're going to use the number line to find out what that equals. So I'm going to start with the number 70. I know that 70 is bigger than 30. So 70 is going to come towards the end of the number line, and I have to jump backwards to find out what that equals. I'm going to start by subtracting 10, and I know that in 30 there are 3 tens. So 70 minus 10, if I'm going backwards, equals 60. 60 minus 10 equals 50. And finally, for my last 10, 50 minus 10 equals 40. So I know all those 3 tens equals 30, which is what I subtracted by. So 70 minus 30 equals 40. Okay, so we did problem number 1. Let's go ahead and try problem number 2. Same thing, I know that 60 is my bigger number, so it's going to go to the end of the number line. And this time I'm only subtracting by 1 10. So 60 minus 10 equals 50. That one was nice and easy. Another way to find the answer to a subtraction problem is by using addition. Here we have 40 plus some number equals 80, so I know that 80 minus 40 equals that same number. That's the missing added right here. So using the number line, I'm going to use addition to find the answer to the subtraction problem. So I start at 40, and I'm going to keep adding by tens until I get to 80. 40 plus 10 equals 50. 50 plus 10 equals 60. 60 plus 10 equals 70. And 70 plus 10 equals 80. So let's see how many tens I have here. 10, 20, 30, 40. So I know that 40 plus 40 equals 80. So that means that 80 minus 40 has to equal 40. So that's one way how to use addition to solve a subtraction problem. Let's practice with one more. So here I have 30 plus some number equals 90. So 90 minus 30 equals that same number that's the missing added. Let's practice with addition. We start at 30, and let's count by tens until we get to 90 to see what that number will be. 30 plus 10 equals 40. 40 plus 10 equals 50. 50 plus 10 equals 60. 60 plus 10 equals 70. 70 plus 10 equals 80. And 80 plus 10 equals 90. I almost ran out of room there. So let's see how many tens we have. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 30 plus 60 equals 90, so that means that 90 minus 30 has to equal 60. Another strategy I'm going to show you on how to subtract two-digit numbers is by drawing a model. So here we have 32 minus 11. So notice how this second number is a little bit different than what we were practicing for the past couple of minutes. This one has a number in the ones place. It's not just a 0. Okay, so we'll practice how to do that by drawing a model. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw the bigger number, and I'm going to cross out 11. Okay, so I see 3 tenths. 1, 2, 3. Draw a line right here so I can separate my tens and my ones. And there's 2 ones. 1 and 2. So now I'm going to look at my number 11 and cross out 11. So I see in 11 that there's 1 10 and 1 1. So let me count how many I have left over, and that's going to be the answer to my subtraction problem. I have 2 tenths and 1 left. So the answer to 32 minus 11 equals 21. Let's try with a bigger number. Here I have 57 minus 25. So I see 5 tenths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Draw a line down the middle so I don't get confused between my tens and my ones. And I see 7 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So the number that I'm subtracting, the number I'm taking away, is the number 25. And in 25, I see 2 tenths, 1, 2, and 5 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me go ahead and count and see what's left over, and that'll be the answer to my subtraction problem. 1, 2, 3 tenths, so 30, and 2 ones, 32. So the answer to 57 minus 25 equals 32. Finally, I'm going to show you one last way to subtract 2-digit numbers. Thank you for learning so many different strategies with me. So this last way is stacking the 2 numbers on top of each other vertically, just like I showed you in the last video with adding the 2-digit numbers together. So over here, we have the numbers 49 minus 26. And I'm going to divide these into tens and ones. So that way we don't get the numbers all mixed up. So I always start over here in my ones place value column, and I'm going to go 9 minus 6, which I know equals 3. I'm going to put the 3 right here, and then I go move on to my tens place value column, and I see that it's 4 minus 2. You can also think about this like 40 minus 20, because technically it is in the tens place value column. So 4 minus 2 equals 2, or 20. So your answer to 49 minus 26, it equals 23. Let's try with another harder one. Here we have 73 minus 21. Same thing, I'm going to divide it into my tens place value column and my ones place value column. So I start here in my ones, and I do 3 minus 1. I know that equals 2. And I move on to my tens place value column, and I see it's 7 minus 2, or you can also say 70 minus 20, and I know that equals 50 or 5. So the answer to 73 minus 21 equals 52. Wow, we have learned so many different strategies today about how to subtract 2-digit numbers. Let's quickly go over the strategies so that way you know which ones to use when you do your own problems for your teacher. So here we have 35 minus 15. We can use a number line. 35 minus 5 minus 10 equals 20. We can use addition to solve. 15 plus 20 equals 35, so 35 minus 15 has to equal 20. We can draw a model. Here I have 30 and 5, and when I cross out 15, I get 20. And I can just subtract by stacking the 2 numbers on top of each other. 35 minus 15 equals 20. Now it's your turn. I have some problems here for you, but you can always be creative and think of your own problems. So you can go ahead and pause the video if you want to use the problems that I came up with for you, or you can be creative and think of 8 different subtraction problems on your own. Thank you so much, and show your teacher on Flipgrid. See you next week.